Hi everyone, it's Charlotte. Welcome back to my channel. This month it is WIT month, which is Women in Translation month, and I am incredibly excited. As a lover of translated fiction, we're going to have a month dedicated to female writers and female translators. First things first, today I'm going to talk you through my own personal TBR for WIT month, and then secondly I'll get into my haul for WIT month, the books that I have picked up recently and intend to get to at some point in the future, but I thought it would be good to add just to give you guys some more ideas of where to look this August. So on my personal TBR pile for WIT month, I have the Postcard. Now this is quite exciting. This is being published by Europa Editions, which have a stellar reputation to say the least. It is a intergenerational family saga coming out of the World War II era. I believe we're following a girl who features on the postcard itself. She is the front cover image, and she receives this postcard with the names of her 4 dead grandparents on it, and the story goes from there. I know it's spanning a broad timeline and it's multi-perspective, and both of those things are massive tick boxes for me, and so I personally hope that this is lining itself up to be one of my best books of the year. Secondly, I'm really looking forward to trying a brand new author to me that I have heard a lot of people talk about, but I myself have not dived into the work of yet. This is Maylis de Kerangal, and she has 2 potential options that interest me. The first of which is called Eastbound, and this is her newest release, and the second of which is called Painting Time. I will probably get to Painting Time first, just because it's available to me on my Scribd account. I think what interests me most about this author is the fact that I saw Jalen from Bar in the Bookcase talk about this author and speak about her work, and he gave a glowing recommendation for her. That intrigued me enough, but then I heard several other people review her work and mention how great the writing was and how interesting the crafting of the story was, and I just thought, wow, what interesting sounding premises, and I hope, fingers crossed, that this is an author for me. She does tend to write quite slim novels, which can be hit and miss with me because I do like to spend a lot of time with the character, but isn't a deal breaker. The slimmer novel is totally fine, so I'm really excited to try this author this month. The next book on my TBR for August is The Court Dancer, and this is, I believe, Matthew Sharappa's favourite author. This is Kyung Shin, and I chose The Court Dancer out of all of her novels because the premise sounded the most intriguing to me. This story follows a French diplomat who travels to Korea and sees the court dancer, who is a young girl, and he gets permission to take her back to Paris with him. And so we follow her life, her new life in Paris. I believe the novel also follows her as she goes back to Korea, and so ultimately I do love a young female protagonist. I like stories that involve travel across the globe, combined with the word of Matthew Sharappa, and I hope that this one is a 5-star stellar novel for me this month. So then the last book that I want to put on my WIT month TBR is Breast and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami. I have read one book by her before called Heaven, and whilst I didn't really like the subject matter, I thought the writing was pretty good, and so I'm hoping to enjoy this subject matter more. It's discussing womanhood and the fears, frustrations, anxiety around womanhood and confronting that. We follow 2 women, one of whom wants to get breast enlargement surgery, and the other one is the first woman's sister, and she's really struggling to find her voice. I think she may actually have lost her voice, either literally and she's gone mute, or doesn't feel like she has a strong voice, and so it's kind of also battling her insecurities and confidence around being vocal as a woman. So I'm hoping that the subject matter of this one grips me more than Heaven did. It is a long, chunky novel standing at 500 pages, and this one actually serves the dual purpose of being a WIT month read for me, as well as me clearing another book off of my TBR that has been sat there for far too long. Breasts and Eggs has been on my TBR for about 3 years now, when it first initially gained a lot of hype on BookTube, and it has been sitting there waiting for me to read for that length of time. So it is high time that I get round, and either I will love it, and in which case that will be a win, or I won't like it and I'll DNF it, and I'll have at least cleared it off of my shelf, and that will equally be a win. So moving on then to the books that I just want to highlight to you guys as part of the haul section of this video. I don't plan on getting round to any of these books this month because I think it will probably be far too much for me to try and get through, especially with the booker this month. So the first book I want to talk to you about in this haul section of the video is called Life with Picasso by Francoise Gilot, and this one really appeals to me because this is about a young French painter who had a romance with Picasso. There was a big age gap between them. She was 21 and he was 62. She gave him 2 children. They had a very happy life together. They worked closely together as well, and so this is a very intimate portrayal of a really well-known artist. I mean, everybody knows who Picasso is, but relatively few people were allowed into his inner circle, and so this is somebody's account of him, which is totally invaluable for a legend who is considered one of the greatest artists we've ever had. The next book is by Magda Szabo, and I've been meaning to read Magda Szabo for years, but this book that I've picked up recently is called Isa's Ballad. I also would like to mention she's got a book called Katalin Street, which I also picked up at the same time, but Isa's Ballad is about the story of a woman who loses her life companion, as well as about a mother who is trying to understand her daughter more. So it's kind of this clash between old world and new world, and it also is about the beliefs that we construct for ourselves over a lifetime, and I think that sounds really interesting. The idea of life and death and longevity of life and what we learn from life is obviously subjects that really interest me, especially recently, and so any book that kind of explores that in a new way for me is very appealing. So that's why I picked up Isa's Ballad. How can a Women in Translation book haul be complete without an Isabel Allende book? The ones that I've chosen are Eva Luna and The House of Spirits. The House of Spirits is the one that I'm really excited to talk to you guys about. I'm so glad that I've added to my shelves because it says here, Isabel Allende weaves a luminous tapestry of 3 generations of the Trueba family, revealing both triumphs and tragedies. The House of Spirits is an enthralling saga that spans decades and lives, twining the personal and the political into an epic novel of love, magic, and fate. That sounds incredible to me. As you guys know, I absolutely love family sagas spanning intergenerational timelines, and I cannot wait to get to this one. I won't be reading it in August because I feel like my TBR is already quite large with the books that I plan to read for WIT month and also the Booker Prize, but this one is certainly high up on my radar. So I'm going to wrap up this video here, guys. I could go on for quite a while about translated fiction. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. I shall chat to you all down in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.